In all my years of playing horror games, I've discovered 8 monsters so terrifying that no matter how smart, strong, or prepared you think you are, survival is completely impossible. And the most lethal one uses a psychological trick that would break your mind before it even touches you. If you think you could survive any of these nightmares, hit the like button to prove your bravery. But stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be hitting the subscribe button just to feel less alone in your newfound fear. Let's start with Choo Charles, possibly the weirdest nightmare fuel I've ever seen in a horror game. Picture this: you're wandering around a creepy island, minding your own business, when suddenly you hear a train whistle, but it's not coming from the tracks. That's because this train doesn't need tracks. It's got giant spider legs. Yeah, you heard me right. A blood red train with a face that looks like a demented Thomas the Tank Engine slapped onto a spider's body. Yeah, you think you could outrun a train? Good luck with that. Charles moves at speeds that would make Usain Bolt look like he's walking backwards. The worst part is that trains are supposed to stay on tracks, right? That's the one advantage we've always had over trains. Just don't stand on the rails. But Charles said nah to that whole concept. Those spider legs let him climb over pretty much anything. Hills, rocks, buildings, nowhere is safe. You can't hide up high, you can't hide down low. He's coming for you, and he's coming fast. But wait, I hear you typing furiously in the comments. I just shoot him with my Glock. Yeah, that's cute. Charles isn't just gonna fall over because you brought your dad's hunting rifle. This monster is basically a living tank. The only thing that even stands a chance against him is another train, specifically your own weaponized train equipped with machine guns. And guess what? Unless you happen to have a battle train parked in your garage, if you do, we need to talk about your hobbies. You're completely out of luck. The game literally gives you a train with a mounted gun, and Charles still nearly kills you every time. Your best strategy is running away in your train while desperately shooting backwards, praying you hit something vital before he rams into you at full speed. It's like trying to win a demolition derby while also playing a first-person shooter, except the other car is alive and really angry. We haven't even talked about how absolutely terrifying it is to be hunted by something that shouldn't exist. That face will haunt your nightmares. Those teeth, those eyes, it's like someone asked AI to combine children's cartoon with my worst fear and then made it real. And that whistle, when you hear it in the distance, your blood turns to ice. You know he's out there, you know he's looking for you, and unlike a regular train, you can't just step off the tracks to safety. The game's creator knew exactly what they were doing. They took two things that aren't scary on their own, trains and spiders, and combined them into something that hits a primal fear we didn't even know we had. Honestly, I'd rather face an actual spider the size of a train than Charles. At least the spider would make sense. But if you thought a spider train was the peak of nightmare fuel, you're in for a nasty surprise when we look at our next monster. She'll make you scared to even open your mouth. Moving on to Resident Evil 7's Marguerite Baker, who takes the concept of worst dinner host ever to a whole new level. If you've ever had a friend's mom force you to eat something gross while saying, "I spent all day cooking this," Marguerite is that times a million. Except what she's serving contains actual human body parts. And trust me, you can't just politely decline and ask for pizza instead. What makes Marguerite truly terrifying isn't just that she's infected with the mold, it's how the infection has warped her. See, each member of the Baker family got changed in different ways. Jack became basically unkillable. Lucas got even smarter and more sadistic, but Marguerite, she turned into a walking bug hive. And not cute bugs like ladybugs. I'm talking massive mutated flies, spiders, and wasps that she can control and summon whenever she wants. I know some of you are already typing, "I just use bug spray." You realize we're talking about thousands of bugs, right? You'd need an industrial tanker of Raid, and even then her insects are mutated by the mold. Regular insecticides wouldn't even make them sneeze. The only effective weapon is fire, which means you'd need a flamethrower. And let's be honest, when was the last time you carried a flamethrower to dinner? What's worse is that you have to face her on her turf. The old house is basically her kingdom. It's dark, rotting, and full of tight spaces where she can set traps. She knows every creaky floorboard and hiding spot. You'd be stumbling around in the dark while she's watching your every move, using her bugs as little spies. She's got the ultimate home field advantage, and that's before we even get to the greenhouse, which is basically bug breeding central. But the real horror show starts when you push her too far. Marguerite undergoes one of the most disgusting mutations in gaming history. Her body elongates into this spider-like monstrosity with a massive insect hide bulging from her pelvic area, constantly spewing out more bugs. She can climb on walls and ceilings, move incredibly fast, and just when you think you've found a safe spot to hide, surprise, she's right above you, ready to drop down. The worst part is that she still talks and thinks like a person. She's not some mindless monster. She's a twisted version of a mother figure who genuinely believes she's doing what's best for her family. She wants to feed you, care for you, and make you part of the Bakers. It's that corrupted maternal instinct that makes her so much more disturbing than just a random monster. You know what's really giving me nightmares though? Imagine walking into the kitchen at night for a snack, turning on the light and seeing Marguerite hanging from your ceiling smiling down at you saying, "I made you dinner, sugar." I'd probably just accept death at that point. Therapy couldn't fix what that would do to me. But if bugs under your skin make your skin crawl, just wait and see what happens when a noble knight transforms into something that makes Marguerite look positively cuddly by comparison. Let's talk about Ludwig from Bloodborne, because nothing says sweet dreams quite like a half-horse, half-man abomination that used to be a hero. When you first meet him in the Hunter's Nightmare, you're basically walking into the world's worst petting zoo. This guy was once the first hunter of the Healing Church, a knight in shining armor who fought to protect people. Now he's, well, just look at him. What makes Ludwig absolutely terrifying is how aggressive he is right out of the gate. Most bosses give you a second to breathe, maybe figure out what you're dealing with. Not Ludwig. This dude comes at you like you owe him money and insulted his mother. He's massive, faster than something that size has any right to be, and hits harder than your dad when you accidentally broke his favorite golf club. I went there. But I'm good at video games, I can hear some of you saying. That's cute. Ludwig doesn't care about your Fortnite wins or your Dark Souls Platinum trophy. His attacks come from every single angle. Ceiling drops, charges, swipes, kicks, and they're deliberately designed to catch you when you think you found a pattern. Just when you think, okay, I've got this figured out, he'll mix it up and flatten you like a pancake. And unlike pancakes, you won't be delicious afterwards, just dead. But here's where the real nightmare starts. Just when you've used up all your healing items and are barely hanging on by a thread, Ludwig finds his favorite toy, the Holy Moonlight Sword. Suddenly, the music changes. He stands upright. He remembers who he was, and somehow that makes him even deadlier. It's like showing up to fight Mike Tyson, surviving 5 rounds somehow, and then he suddenly pulls out a lightsaber and starts quoting Shakespeare while kicking your ass. It's not just a physical threat anymore, it's almost existential. The second phase is beautiful and horrible at the same time. His sword glows with cosmic energy, sending out these massive waves of arcane power that can one-shot you at even near to full health. He's more focused, more deliberate, and in some ways, more human, which somehow makes it worse. You're not just fighting a beast anymore, you're fighting a fallen hero who knows exactly what he's doing. What really gets me about Ludwig isn't just how hard he hits or how gross he looks, it's his story. This was a guy who wanted to protect people. He believed in honor and courage, and bit by bit, the blood and the hunt corrupted him until he became the very thing he swore to destroy. When you beat him, you can actually talk to his severed head. He asks if the hunters he trained remained honorable knights. You have to choose whether to lie to him or break his heart with the truth. Of course, I don't give a fuck. I broke that dude's heart. I died 100 times this guy. Horsey man, I don't give a shit about your knights. And this happens. You ever had to tell a dying monster that everyone he ever learned turned into monsters too? Talk about awkward conversations. It makes all those "we need to talk" texts from your ex seem pretty tame in comparison. Trust me, I would know about those. Next up, we've got a villain who doesn't just want to kill you. He wants to throw a moon at your head and everyone you've ever known, because being subtle is for losers. Now, most of these monsters we've talked about would at least give you the dignity of killing you up close and personal. But Skull Kid, or more specifically, Majora's Mask in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, says, nah, I'm gonna drop an entire moon on you. Not a little meteor, not a satellite, the moon with a face, an angry face. Why does the moon have a face? And before any of you guys make a comment about how this isn't a horror movie, this scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. It is also very terrifying when you think about it. It's a horror movie in my mind. I make the video, deal with it. Relax, it's called dark humor, buddy. What makes Majora's Mask so absolutely terrifying isn't that it's just powerful, it's that it completely breaks the rules of reality itself. Remember when you were a kid and you played pretend and that one annoying friend would say, "Oh yeah, I have a shield that blocks everything." And then you'd say, "Well, I have a sword that cuts through any shield." And it would go back and forth until someone's mom called you in for dinner and you beat the shit out of each other with sticks. Just me? Okay, well, Majora's Mask is that annoying kid, except it actually works. This thing can turn you into a completely different species. It can freeze an entire mountain in eternal winter. It can poison all the water in a region. It can raise the dead, and just for funsies, it can pull the moon out of orbit and make it crash into the planet, killing literally everyone. I've had bad days before, but never I'm going to destroy the entire world bad. That's a whole other level of waking up on the wrong side of the bed. But wait, I hear some of you typing with your Cheeto stained fingers. Can't you just hide somewhere, like a really deep cave? First off, rude. Second, we're talking about the moon crashing into the planet. There's no bunker deep enough, no cave safe enough. Let me paint this out for you. This is the moon. This is you. Boom! That's it. Game over for everyone. And you've got only 3 days before impact. That's 72 hours to somehow stop a godlike entity from causing an extinction level event. Good luck with that. The most disturbing part is that the whole apocalypse is being orchestrated by what looks like a kid in a mask. Skull Kid himself isn't inherently evil. He's just a lonely, mischievous forest imp who felt abandoned by his friends. Reminds me of my childhood. But the mask took all of those negative emotions, the loneliness, the abandonment, the resentment, and amplified them into world-ending rage. It's like giving a nuclear launch code to a kid having a temper tantrum, except a million times worse. And that's where the true horror lies. Majora's mask doesn't just destroy bodies, it corrupts minds and souls. Everyone it touches gets twisted. Mask found the perfect vessel in Skull Kid, someone vulnerable, hurt, and powerful enough to cause real damage. It's basically the cosmic horror version of targeting someone's insecurities in an argument. Oh, your friends abandoned you? Why not abandon the whole world by dropping the moon on it? Harsh. The only way Link manages to stop this thing is by using time travel, collecting magical masks from all over Termina, summoning 4 giants to physically hold back the moon, and then going inside the moon to battle Majora directly. God damn it, what type of acid are they taking in Japan? And even then, he needs to literally become a god using the fierce dating mask. Let me repeat that. The hero needs to become a god to win this fight. So unless you happen to have an ocarina that can manipulate time, ability to transform into multiple species, connections with ancient deities, and your own god mask lying around, you're toast. And not the good kind of toast with butter and cinnamon sugar. I'm talking about the type of toast that you make in your bathtub. If cosmic horror isn't your style, our next nightmare comes in a more personal package. A deranged dragon king cradling his invisible baby while trying to tear your limbs off. Let's talk about Oceiros, the consumed king from Dark Souls 3. Because nothing says family issues quite like a half-dragon dad who won't stop screaming about his invisible baby. When you first walk into his garden, you hear this creepy voice echoing through the area. He's having a full conversation with someone who isn't there. Fun times already. Oceiros used to be a normal king. Well, normal for Dark Souls, which means he was probably already a little off his rocker. But then he got obsessed with dragons and decided, you know what would be cool if I became one? Spoiler alert, transformation did not go well. Now he looks like Pete Davidson. Basically, he's this skinny, pale, scaly mess clutching what he thinks is a baby, but might just be thin air. You might be thinking, he sounds pathetic. I could take him. First of all, put your confidence away. Nobody wants to see that. Second, this dude is legitimately terrifying because he's completely unpredictable. He starts off almost fragile looking, using magic and moving slowly. You might fool yourself into thinking this fight will be easy, and that's exactly what he wants. But halfway through the fight, he has what can only be described as the worst temper tantrum in video game history. He suddenly decides that holding his invisible baby was cramping his style, so he just puts the baby down with extreme prejudice because I don't want to get canceled and I don't want YouTube not to give me money on this video. You get the idea. Fun fact, there's an actual squishing sound and a baby's cry in the source code of Dark Souls 3, but the developers took it out when they released the game because they thought it was too dark. Probably was, but Dark Souls doesn't mess around with the disturbing factor. After that, Oceiros goes full beast mode. He drops down on all fours and starts charging around the arena like a rabid rhinoceros that just drank 10 energy drinks. His movement becomes completely erratic. No pattern, no warning, just pure chaos. And he's fast, like crackhead energy fast. What makes him extra special in the nightmare department is that he keeps talking throughout the whole fight. He's not just trying to kill you, he's having a full psychological breakdown while doing it. It's like fighting someone's mentally ill grandfather who also happens to be part dragon and can shoot ice breath at you. His frost breath is no joke either. Get caught in that and you're not just taking damage, your stamina regeneration goes down the toilet too. In a game where stamina means survival, that's basically a death sentence. The boss room itself doesn't help either. It's filled with roots and debris, making it hard to move around. There's water on the floor that in real life would slow you down, and when a 7-foot tall dragon man is charging at you screaming about his missing child that he just killed, every little obstacle becomes a potential coffin nail. I've heard people say, but if I had a gun, I could just shoot him. Oh, you sweet summer child. This is a being who deliberately mutated himself through forbidden magic and dragon worship. Your little 9mm isn't going to do anything except maybe just make him more angry. And trust me, you do not want to make him more angry than he already is. But if you thought Oceiros was gross, wait until you meet our next abomination that literally turned itself inside out because it was just too hungry. Now, let's move on to the Gaping Dragon from Dark Souls, aka the poster child for don't eat too much or you'll turn into a literal mouth. First off, I know what this thing looks like. Get it out of the way, make your jokes now. But yeah, remember that first time you see it in the game? That little dragon head pops up and you think, oh, that's not so bad. Then the rest of it rises and you realize that's not its head. Its entire body has split open into a massive mouth lined with teeth. I still have nightmares about that reveal. This thing is huge. We're talking the size of a city bus, maybe bigger. It's like someone took a dragon, decided it wasn't scary enough, and then turned its whole torso into a walking mouth. The developers said they designed it around the concept of greed. It was so hungry, so consumed by the desire to eat, that its body physically transformed to accommodate its appetite. Talk about what happens when you skip breakfast and lunch. Well, I could just stay away from its mouth. I hear some of you keyboard warriors typing. Good luck with that when the entire creature is a mouth. It's like saying you'll avoid getting wet in the ocean by staying away from the water part. The thing has legs the size of tree trunks, a tail that can sweep you across the room, and oh yeah, it can charge. The Gaping Dragon has this move where it lowers its body and just bulldozes across the entire arena. You think you're at a safe distance? Nope. You think you can hide behind a pillar? The pillar breaks. You think you can block it? Congratulations, you just became a pancake with a shield pattern imprinted on it. What makes this monster extra special in the ways to die horribly department is that it has this grab attack where it scoops you up and stuffs you right into its chest maw. Imagine being eaten alive, feeling all those teeth closing in around you. Actually, don't imagine that. I'm sorry I even brought it up. I'm having trouble sleeping as it is. Just when you think you've figured out its pattern, surprise, just like Becky after 2 vodka crayons, it vomits acid all over the floor. This isn't just regular damage we're talking about. This acid literally melts your equipment. Your fancy armor, dissolved. Your precious weapon, corroded. Your dignity, long gone. All while this massive tooth wagon is charging at you again. The worst part is, this thing used to be a normal dragon. Well, normal for being an immortal magical reptile. It's a descendant of the ancient dragons that ruled the world before fire existed. But then life happened, desire happened, hunger happened, and it transformed into this. It's basically what would happen if your food addiction physically manifested and turned you inside out. Some of you might be thinking, well, I would just use lightning on it. Dragons are weak to lightning. First, congratulations on knowing your Dark Souls lore. Gold star for you. Second, unless you can naturally produce lightning from your fingertips, you're still toast. The average person doesn't exactly carry Zeus level weaponry in their back pocket. And even for lightning, this fight is brutal for first time players with magical weapons and superhuman rolling abilities. I died to this thing 17 times my first playthrough. 17! I wasn't even mad by then. I was just impressed at how consistently it kept finding new ways to kill me. But as nightmare inducing as the Gaping Dragon is, at least it stays in its own game. Our next horror breaks through your screen to turn your real life webcam against you. Let's talk about the Eyes Never Wake entity. A monster that takes I'm watching you to a whole new level of nope. This upcoming horror game does something most games wouldn't dare. It uses your actual webcam to see if you're hiding in real life. Yeah, you heard that right. The monster in the game can literally see you through your webcam. Sleep tight. The game's premise is simple but genius. You're exploring some weird, glitchy, out of bounds area in an abandoned video game. But there's this entity hunting you, and its whole thing is that it wants to see your face. When it gets close in the game, you have to physically duck under your desk or move away from your webcam in real life to avoid being caught. I don't know about you, but the idea of having to hide under my desk at 2 a.m. while playing a game is, let's just say my therapist would have questions. But I'll just cover my webcam then. Nice try, Einstein. First off, that's cheating. Second off, the developers thought of that. If you cover your webcam or turn it off, your character in the game can't move. It's like saying I'll avoid drowning by not getting in the water while you're already in the middle of the ocean. The game forces you to engage with its core mechanic, your real life vulnerability. It doesn't stop there either. This thing can also hear you through your microphone. Make too much noise in your room, a cough, a sneeze, your mom yelling at you because you didn't do your laundry yet. Come on, man. And the entity knows where you are. So not only do you have to physically hide, but you also have to stay completely silent. Imagine trying not to make noise while you're already freaking out about a digital monster that can see you. What makes this truly terrifying is how it messes with the safe boundary between games and reality. Horror games are supposed to stay in the screen where they belong. That's the unspoken agreement. I'll let you scare me, but only through the glass. This game says, nah, I'm coming into your living room. It's like if the girl from The Ring didn't just crawl out of the TV, but also commented on how messy your room is. The psychological impact here is huge. Even though logically you know it's just a game using your camera input, something primal in your brain freaks out when you realize you're being watched. Our brains aren't wired to understand the difference between a game that can see me and an actual threat that can see me. Your caveman brain just screams, "Predator, hide!" And that fear is real, even if the monster isn't. And let's be honest, how many of you check behind your shower curtain because of horror movies, or under your bed, or in your closet? Now imagine a game that actively encourages that paranoia by making the monster respond to your actual physical presence. It's leveraging your real-world vulnerability in a way no other game can. The developer claims all webcam processing is done locally. Nothing gets uploaded, and you can turn the feature off in settings. But come on. We all know turning it off is admitting defeat, and even if you do disable it, you'll still feel like something's watching you. That's the real genius of this concept. It plants the seeds of paranoia that continues even after you close the game. By the way, I've had my webcam covered with tape since I started researching this game. Not because I'm scared or anything, I'm just, it's just a precaution. Totally normal behavior. After all of this technology-based horror, our final nightmare proves that sometimes the scariest things are the simplest. A shadowy figure that kills you for just looking at it. Finally, let's talk about Robe from Repo, which proves that the scariest monsters don't need fancy powers or gross mutations. They just need you to break one simple rule. Look at it and you die. Robe is basically this tall, shadowy figure wearing what looks like a long cloak and a white mask. Think No Face from Spirited Away, but instead of offering you gold, it offers you a quick trip to the game over screen. What makes Robe absolutely terrifying is how quiet it is. Most horror game monsters give you some kind of warning. Heavy footsteps, creepy music, maybe some growling. Not Robe. This thing moves like it's wearing noise-canceling socks. Players constantly report Robe just appearing behind them with zero warning. One second you're looting a cabinet, the next second you're dead and wondering what hit you. It's like that friend who reads messages over your shoulder without announcing they're there, except this friend will actually kill you. But I have good headphones. I'd hear it coming. Sure, Janice, Robe was specifically designed to counter that exact confidence. It moves with almost no sound cues. Even high-end gaming headsets won't save you when there's literally nothing to hear. Fancy RGB setup can't detect what isn't making noise. Here's where it gets truly diabolical. The way Robe attacks is tied to how you react to it. If you look directly at its mask, it immediately charges at you with incredible speed. Your natural instinct when you see a threat is to look at it, right? Well, Robe weaponizes that instinct. The very thing your brain tells you to do, focus on the danger, is exactly what gets you killed. It's basically psychological warfare. And don't think crouching will save you either. If Robe catches you standing up, it deals 100 damage, which is basically instant death. If you're crouching, it hits you for 50 damage. That's like saying, would you prefer to be hit by a truck or just a regular car? Either way, you're not walking away happy. Hiding under furniture isn't safe either. If Robe sees you duck under something, it just reaches underneath with its arms and grabs you anyways. Imagine being under your bed as a kid thinking you're safe from the monsters and then feeling something grab your ankle. That's the Robe experience in a nutshell. The worst part is the constant psychological pressure. You never relax because you know this silent killer could be right behind you at any moment. You're constantly spinning your camera around, checking corners, looking up at ceiling, but not directly at Robe if it's there. It creates this perfect storm of paranoia. Every shadow becomes suspicious. Every quiet moment feels like the calm before the storm. Some players have suggested fighting Robe head on. That's cute. Robe has 250 health points, and as I mentioned, deals massive damage instantly. Unless you have godlike reflexes and perfect aim and a bunch of tools, you're not winning that fight. The game literally tells you to avoid it, not fight it. When the tutorial says run and hide, maybe it's time to listen. While other monsters on this list might be more powerful or grosser, Robe terrifies me because it feels like the most plausible. We've all had that feeling of being watched, of turning around quickly because we sense something behind us. Robe is that feeling given form. The shadow you thought you saw, the presence you felt but couldn't explain, and in the game, that feeling is actually trying to kill you. So there you have it, 8 horror game monsters that would give you absolutely zero chance of survival. From spider trains to caustic masks to webcam watching entities, the creative ways games have found to terrify us just keep evolving. If you enjoyed having your sleep schedule permanently damaged, hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to keep destroying your sleep schedule, I suggest you watch this video on screen now.